Hi, my name is Vala Gomez. Today I'm going to be talking about criminological theories that focus on explaining the cause of crime. And I do have the split screen next to me that has the prompt that I will be answering today, as well as my notes to the right of me. So that's what I'll be looking at throughout this video. Just to kind of get into what I'm going to be talking about is the prompt first off. So, the prompt is: to what extent do criminological theories, which are used to understand and explain crime, coincide with the contemporary understanding of crime? And then, what theory do I believe explains crime in the most logical way? And so, just to kind of start off here, I'm just going to explain a couple of basic theories that tie into just contemporary understanding of criminology and why crime is committed in the modern world, and just also the extent that they can be used based on which one that I believe represents what explains crime in the most logical way. So, just to kind of start, going over some criminological theories and then the contemporary understanding of it. So for contemporary criminology, this is the application of criminology to the modern world, and essentially, contemporary criminology views crime as a social phenomenon, and it focuses on the causes, characteristics, and consequences of crime in the real world. So it just applies criminology to what happens in the real world on a day-to-day basis. And so just to kind of give some examples as to what theories can kind of play into just the basic understanding of why crime is committed and why people continue to do so every day, regardless of the consequences that have been seen, either published on news or in their community. The first one is the rational choice theory. Rational choice theory is individuals that weigh the pros and cons before making a decision. So essentially, someone that is trying or wanting to commit a crime, they think about the pros and cons of what might come out of their actions. So let's say that someone wanted to rob a store simply for their benefit. If they have thought about the pros and cons, some pros that they might think would be that they can get the stuff that they need without having to pay, they can get it quickly. But some cons might be the repercussions that would come out of this, which would be being prosecuted for the items that they've taken and potentially jail time as well, depending on how much that they get. But essentially would always end up in jail time due to stealing someone else's property. The rational choice theory ties back to the fact that people are self-interested. So the people that don't really rationalize their actions before they do so, it kind of shows that they are conceited a little bit. They just focus on me instead of a community perspective, so they don't think about any other factors that could possibly be harmful from their actions. Another thing is the social learning theory. So this one is criminal behavior is learned through observation and interactions with others. So for the social learning theory, this ties into the communities and the households, for example, that people were brought up in. So if someone lived in a lower income neighborhood, they were probably surrounded by things that they probably shouldn't do, not the best examples in comparison to people that have had better opportunities for themselves growing up due to their parents, simply because children really cannot provide for themselves as they are growing up. So those are just some theories that kind of provide a basic understanding as to why crime occurs still in the world today. And so for me personally, the theory that I believe explains crime in the most logical way, in the best way, I did mention it already, which is the social learning theory. So I believe that, like I said, the environments and communities, they do impact how you rationalize decision making in the future. So, as I said, if you grew up in a crime-ridden neighborhood, let's say, just to kind of paint a picture here, if you're in a lower income neighborhood and you often see people robbing stores, I know in my grandmother's area, they often robbed this Family Dollar that was across the street from her. It quickly became a really bad neighborhood. So if I were to grow up in that, and I saw those things, I had the potential of becoming normalized to those things, seeing that it's normal, that you have to do what you have to do type of mindset. And just to kind of also tie it into the modern day world right now with the uprise of social media and a bigger social media presence of people wanting to have more followers. They want to be popular, they want to be an influencer on TikTok, or they want to be a vlogger on YouTube, or just any type of content creator that has a large amount of following. This comes with peer pressure, social media expectations, and just having a bunch of people telling you what you should and shouldn't do. Those things can really shape you into trying to fit this perfect image instead of doing what's best for yourself, while also rationalizing your thoughts beforehand. So just tying back to the social learning theory, so just I believe that if someone were to be raised into a bad neighborhood, let's say, or a bad city, just to generalize it a little bit more, I believe that that can kind of explain as to why crime would be a little bit more common, just because it's so common in the area. They see it all the time, they see that it's normalized. So I understand also that this cannot fully explain like why crime is committed in every aspect. This is simply just one specific instance or one specific example that could be used. But that's all I have here. Thank you for listening.